So good evening to our presenter. So today I am Srijan. I will be presenting our team's cost report, the KPR factory racing. So our contents are divided into six different parts: the chassis, the steering system, the brake system, and the power and transmission, wheel assembly, and the electronics which we'll be using to, start and guide those systems. So first of all, we will start with the chassis. That means the body and the frame. This is the skeleton. This is the whole skeleton of our go kart, which is going to be supporting all those electronics and the engine and the driver itself, who's going to sit on the frame. So basically, first our frame, the total cost for manufacturing our frame was 6,150, and the quantity is one. We have made only one chassis, and the total cost is 6,150, including the labor on the frame to achieve that CAD model that we designed in the computer. And the front body mount, actually the front body mount is nothing but the front crash impact structure, which we will be using in the that will be happening on the front of the car. And we made two mounts. Each mount costed 130 rupees, and the total cost was 260 rupees. And the impact structure, which surround all those electronics that we keep in the box. All those comes under the left side of the vehicle, and the left side has a crash impact structure. And we made two of those mounts so that we can easily remove it by screwing and unscrewing it. And the total cost was 200. Each of them costed 100 rupees. And the same thing on the right side. The right side is much more important because we have the engine itself situated on the right side of the cart, and the same amount has been given here. It's like we have made two mounts, and both the mounts individually cost 100 and 100. Total rupees cost was 200. And the rear bumper mount, which is actually for the rear impact protection, uh, for our driver. Same thing, we have made two mounts, and each mount costed 130 rupees. So total it was 260 rupees. And the steering column mount. So for steering column, we needed the mount to support at a certain angle for our driver. And that mount, we have used only one mount to support the steering column, like on the chassis, and it cost around 260 rupees. The steering column support the mount is the one which is going to be handling the support, and this in that support the steering column will be inserted to connect to the thyroids and the wheels. So steering column support was individually costing the same 260 rupees. And and when we continue with the chassis, we have the stub axle mount, that is the camber caster plate, which we will be having, which we will be playing to adjust the steering effort for our driver. And for the left, we had one, and that costed around 1,000 rupees. On which the stub axle will be mounted. That means it will be screwed. And the stub axle mount right, which is on the right side of the vehicle, same as the left, and its same costed around 1,000 rupees. The driver's seat mount, which we mounted on the middle of the chassis, like in the center of the chassis. And we made two mounts for the driver's seat, and each of them costed and the total costed 255 rupees. And the firewall mount, which will be coming in the between of driver and this engine, for our protection, for our driver's protection from the heat. So we made two of those mounts, each costed to 130 rupees, and the total was 260. The drive shaft mount on the left. So actually we will be using shaft real for the our cart is rear wheel driven, and we will be using shaft. And we use two mounts to insert the shaft and hold it in a place. One is on the left, which costed around 400 rupees. Total cost was 400. So the same thing on the drive on the right side. We have used the same drive shaft mount on the right side, which cost around 400. And the brake caliper mount. So we added a member starting from the last member of our chassis. It's perpendicular to the last member of our chassis, and on that member we have made a brake caliper mount. We have manufactured from 5 plate on which the brake calipers are going to be screwed, and it's going to be attached with the discs. And we have made only one mode because there's only one disc brake at the rear. And and it costed around 270 rupees for one brake caliper mount. And the accelerator pedal mount, which we done it on the sheet. That's the platform on which the driver's seat is going to be placed. And the quantity of it is also one, and the cost was rupees 220. The brake pedal mount, it's again done on the sheet over which the driver's seat and electronics are going to be placed. And same again, the quantity is one. So we have three brakes in our cart, and all those three brakes will be actuated by this one brake pedal. And the cost of this one brake pedal is 220 rupees. And clutch pedal mount, which will be situated in the steering, like our driver will be actuating the clutch in the steering. So the manufacturing cost for clutch pedal mount was 170 rupees. And the breakover travel switch, sorry, the breakover travel switch, again we used only one, and that costed around 170 rupees. The front body bumper, which we made out of pipes, were 470 rupees. And the body left side and the body right side, which will be mounted on the left mount and the right mount for those crash impact structure, were around the same 470 rupees. And the quantity was same, all were only one. And the rear bumper was also rupees 470 rupees. We used only one. So now over to steering system. So we have a steering system which also consists of clutch pedal mounted on it. But if we look the steering system separately, so we have a 10-inch steering wheel for our driver, for our comfortability of driver. So 10-inch steering wheel would help him to steer the cart much more easy effectively. So the steering wheel was cost around 2,000 rupees, and the quantity we used was one. The hub steering wheel also, we have used only one, and it cost around 800. The steering column is the backbone of whole steering system, which is going to be carrying all those twist torque to the wheels. I mean, to the stub axles to turn the wheels. And the steering column costed around 1,600. The quantity we used is also one. The support we used for steering column is also one, that cost around 190 rupees. Uh, the bearings that we used were around the two bearings on the stub axles, and one on the steering axle. So total we used three in the quantity, and that costed around 400 rupees. Housing bearing, tripod, all those housing bearing and tripod, we also use them in quantity of threes. And we use two tie rods, one on the left and one on the right. Both have ball joints on both the ends to adjust those the steering effect on the pit arm that is situated on the steering column. So tie rod left cost around 1,025 rupees one, and tie rod right costed the same 1,025 rupees. And the rod end we used where the quantity we used is one, with that cost around rupees 350. Oops. Sorry, guys. So the steering wheel positive left, which is will be mounted directly to the chassis, which will be stopping the steering input further to it's kind of a positive stopper, beyond which the steering wheel will not turn, or the tires will not turn. So we have two steering wheel stops. One is on the left and the one is on the right, and uh, both of them cost around 40 rupees. So when we come to the braking system, we used dot 4 brake fluids, and they cost around 48, and we have used only one can. And the master cylinders we use three, two on the front, one on the rear, and all the three will be actuated from a single brake pedal. And the brake pedal we have used is we have two brake pedals, which will be help for us to actuating all those three cylinders. And the cylinders costed around 2,000 rupees, and the brake pedal was around 800 rupees. The fluid line we used on the front was 1,290, and the rear is 1,000. And the quantity we used is three again for the three different brakes. The total cost was 2,290. The brake calipers or the brake calipers we have used three, and individually they cost around 1,000 rupees, and the total cost was 3,000. And we have used two different rotors, this one on the front and two on the fronts and one on the rear. The front one is around 160 mm, and the rear is 180 mm, and they both costed and the total cost was 1,230. Now we come to the power and transmission unit. The engine we are using around 5 engine. The displacement is 155 cc. It's liquid cooled. The total cost for the engine was 25,000. The throttle pedal we used we used two throttle pedals for our engine. Individually they costed 900. Total they are 1,800. Positive stop for throttle pedal. We have two stops for the throttle pedal, beyond which the throttle cannot go. And individually they cost around 20. So total they are 60 rupees. Actually they are 30 rupees individually. That's some mistake. Throttle cable we are using the stock R15 cables for the quantity is 2, and the total cost was 430 rupees. Exhaust manifold along with the engine we used only one quantity, so it came along with the engine, so there's no separate cost for it. Muffler we have used one, and the cost is 1,300. Gearbox the total cost is 1,300. It's the amount for the clutch plate we have used, and the quantity is also one, so the price is along with the engine. Driver sprocket and all those driving driven and lock driver sprocket, they all came with the engine. And the driver driven sprocket we have two quantity. One is small and the other is a larger diameter. Both of them together cost around 3,000 rupees. The hub driven sprocket 3,000 rupees, and the quantity we used is one. And so the chain we have used two types of chains, and both of them costed 4,000 rupees. Drive shaft we have used one. The drive shaft cost around 4,000. Come on. Okay, there's small malfunction with my computer. Kindly excuse me. Yeah, so again, continuing with the engine transmission. So the bearing bracket on the left and bearing bracket on the right, we have two bearing brackets. Both of them cost around 1,000. And the gear shifter mechanism, we will be using pipes to for the gear shifting mechanism, which will be situated near the steering on the right side, because left side we have clutch pedal, on the right side we have gear shifting mechanism, and the total cost for gear shifting mechanism is 1,060 rupees. Clutch pedal, the clutch pedal will be mounted on the steering on the left side, which is around 638 rupees. Quantity is one. The clutch wire is the same stock R15 clutch wire, which is 165 rupees, and the quantity we use is one. Fuel tank, we have manufactured it. We have manufactured it around 3 liters, which costed us around 5,500 rupees. This one. Fuel tank mount, we have used three mounts to mount a fuel tank. And the rate for all those mount is 399 rupees. Fuel pipe, the quantity we used is one, and the total cost was 650. Now we come to a wheel assembly. Wheels, we have obviously we have four sets of wheel. On the front, we have on the front the wheel diameter is 25 centimeters, that is 250 mm. On the rear, we have 26 centimeters, that is 260 mm. So the quantity was four wheels, and the total cost was 2,000. The tire we used were also four, in the quantities also four. The total cost was 5,758. The stub axle left and the stub axle right, on which the both the front tires are going to be fixed. They are individually cost around 1,300 and 1,300. And the rear wheel hub left and rear wheel hub right, on which the rear wheels are going to be fitted on the shaft, which cost around 1,500 rupees and 1,500 rupees. So when we come to the electronic system, we have a battery to power the electronic system, which cost around 1,350 rupees. The quantity was one, so total cost was 1,350.
Mr. Srijan, sorry to interrupt. You're exceeding the time which was allotted for presentation.
Yes, sir.
Try to complete in next 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is the last part, so I'll
Yes,
go
yes, go ahead, please.
fast. So the battery we used one, and the cost was 1,350. The wiring harness along with the engine. So the wiring harness, the cost is along with the engine, which sums up 25,000 rupees. The brake light, we have one in number, and it costs around 250. The sensor for the brake light is again one in quantity, and it costs around 60. The kill switch, again two in quantity, with total cost around 75. The breakover travel switch, we have used it one in quantity, which costs around 35. And the start switch, which is also one in quantity, the total cost was 2,600 rupees. So with this, I wind up with my cost report. Thank you for one and all who had the patience to listen to this.
Now
Thank you,
quickly
sir.
open the cost report that you have submitted.
Cost report, that Excel sheet, sir.
Yes, yes, that Excel sheet you submitted to ISNEE.
Yes, sir, yes, sir, I will open it. Sir, is my screen visible?
Yeah, yeah, continue.
Yes, your screen is visible.
Yes, sir. So this is the report we have submitted first for the cost report.
Okay, can you scroll down a little?
Is this okay, sir?
Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling until the end slowly. Wait. Okay, go ahead. Is your nose going somewhere? I mean, is it going somewhere?
Which mouse you are asking?
No. Your nose.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. Keep scrolling.
Yes.
Okay, now locate frame and body in the next worksheet.
The next worksheet. Oops. Yes, sir.
Scroll on to the top.
Yes, sir.
Zoom in a little. Okay. Can you explain me the costs associated with line number 15, which happens to be your frame?
Yes, sir. The cost associated with. I mean, you're asking for the manufacturing cost, right?
Every cost which you have mentioned here.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. So, we are using a ASI material for our frame. The frame is actually manufactured by us. So we haven't
It's
brought
not
it. We
like
have
it's
manufactured
not
it.
like that you alone have to explain it. If you want to take help from your team members, you can. I mean, this question is for everyone. Anyone who's willing to answer can answer.
So can I continue or should I
Yes,
wait
yes, yes.
until